You ever notice how similar filmmaking is to painting? Let's think about this. Like a painter, a filmmaker must tell a story through images. Like a painter, a filmmaker must choose his colors carefully and convey meaning through certain shades of color. Like a filmmaker, a painter must sometimes manipulate light and shadows for dramatic effect. Like a painter, a filmmaker must frame their image in a certain way, sometimes limiting his image to a certain space. Now, no filmmaker embodies this link between painting and cinema more than director Peter Greenaway. What's different about Greenaway is he's a trained painter. In his movies, we have a very unique visual style, one that pays close attention to color and composition. These films are staged and lit precisely and have the quality of a painting come to life. Now, Greenaway's most well-known and most controversial work was a film called The Cook, the Thief, His Wife, and Her Lover, mixing together fine food, graphic sex, and some bizarre violence. This movie was slapped with an NC-17 rating upon its initial release. Now, where some audiences saw smut, I saw a strange but beautiful film that uses the idea of eating and dining to critique the British class system, specifically how the rich consume the labor of the working poor. How does this film do all this? Well, just give me a few minutes of your time, and let's go back and take a closer look at The Cook, the Thief, His Wife, and Her Lover. Now, this film takes place in a chic restaurant where a cook is forced to work for a thief, an odious, despicable man played by Michael Gambon. Now, one night during dinner service, the thief's wife, played by Helen Mirren, begins a torrid affair with one of the restaurant's patrons, an affair that will end in murder. Now, in telling this story, the film creates a very distinct visual style, a style that highlights the artificiality of film itself. For starters, each section of this strange restaurant is color-coded. The kitchen, where the cook and his staff labor intensely to produce food, is filled with shades of green, while the dining room, where the thief and the ruling classes eat their food, is dominated with shades of red. In fact, when characters walk into one room from another, their clothes change to match the color of that room. For instance, when Mirren and Gambon enter the kitchen, their clothes are green. When we follow them into the dining room, their clothes suddenly become red. In fact, the staging of the red-colored dining room is modeled after a famous Dutch painting called The Banquet of the Officers by artist Frans Hals, and it shows the country's ruling classes eating a fine meal, a painting which is displayed prominently in the background of the red dining room itself. Furthermore, when Mirren and her lover sneak to the restaurant's bathrooms to have sex, her dress matches the surroundings of that room and becomes white. This painterly style and theatrical staging, mixed with an excessive use of color, brings attention to the movie as a construction, or as something that is artificial. The film highlights that these people are just symbols for something greater. In short, Cook the Thief is a movie that is aware that it's a movie. So if these aren't just people so much as they are symbols, what are they symbols for? Well, some have suggested that Cook the Thief is an elaborate political metaphor, a metaphor for life in England under the reign of Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher. Now keep in mind, this is a British film that was released during Thatcher's reign, a time when many artists, including director Peter Greenaway, felt that the Thatcher government was cruel to the poor, contemptuous of art and culture, and more importantly, completely absorbed in their own individual wealth and consumption at the expense of the country as a whole. In this aspect, the despicable thief and the wealthy diners that surround him in the film are symbols for the ruling class of England. In this scenario, The cook and his fellow workers symbolize the working class of the country, who slave and toil in a factory-like kitchen, only to have their labor consumed by the elite diners that they served. In this aspect, the restaurant itself symbolizes the class structure of England as a whole. It's beautiful but stratified, a divided place ruled over by a ravenous bully. The film's link between art, class, and food all culminates in a truly surreal scene in which the workers of the restaurant and the thief's abused wife finally unite to overthrow their ruler, in a scene that's choreographed and composed beautifully. Here, the thief is forced to eat the body of his wife's deceased lover. Now, as the thief dines on his wife's lover, at its essence, this scene exposes what the exploitation of the working classes and perhaps capitalism itself really is: a form of cannibalism. Now, Cook the Thief is an art house film in every sense of the word. It's not for everybody, but if you're an adventurous film viewer who likes to watch weird and wild movies, then I encourage you to seek it out. Thanks for listening. Please post comments below, share this video, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.